Tourist Central, leaving all this behind. All right, have a safe trip. Have a safe trip. Don't kill any bears. Oh, this looks familiar. This is where it started before. Ketchikan is a zoo, and it's not even tourist season yet. There's 4 cruise ships in terminal right now, in port. 4 of the big hotels, so the streets are just packed with tourists. The locals are hanging low, trying to hide from it all. But much better weather to start out this time. Looks like I got 3 days of really good stuff ahead of me. And I got to take advantage of them, try to get down around the south end of Prince of Wales. So I'm hoping I can knock off at least 60 miles in the next 3 days, which would be about 20 mile an hour, or 20 mile a day average. So, but yeah, Ketchikan, that's the, I can zoom in on it, that's the ferry that I came up on. Right there. They'll be pushing off here in a few minutes. But yeah. Making the best of it. No rain for the next 3 days, and nothing to speak of. A little drizzle and light winds. Hopefully nothing above 15 knots. So it's pretty good traveling for Alaska. Gonna make hay while the sun shines. Got the kayak packed pretty clean on this trip, actually. I've got a lot more food than I usually have, but see the back deck is clear. Got a spare paddle back there and a camera mount, but everything else, 35 pounds of food is all stored in the boat. Got at least 1.5 gallons of water on me right now. So I'm about as heavy as I'm gonna get, and the boat's still operating pretty nice and the front deck's clear. I'm about 1.5 hours from peak high tide, so I start working along the edges and expect to have a little boost push me around to where I'm going to camp tonight, which is about 20 miles down around the south coast of Gravina Island. So, all right, heading south from Ketchikan. I'm probably 4 miles south of Ketchikan. Other than that ferry and some salmon boats that went by, it's thinning out. It's getting pretty empty. And I'm moving pretty fast, even though the water's not tide's just about slack, but it's just really nice. Got a little 8 mile an hour tailwind and perfect conditions. It's about 60 degrees out here. The beach I have in mind is on Doll Point on the south end of Gravina Island. That'll set me up for the crossing. The importance of timing the tides here. I'm just sitting here munching away on some snack food and having a drink, and I'm drifting along at 1.6, 1.7 knots, just without even doing any effort. Down on the south end of Gravina Island, in the Nicholas Passage, and there's some humpback whales right here feeding a second ago. Waiting for them to come up. They were coming up mouth open, just gulping down the herring a minute ago. Hard to pick up on the camera, but the far island out there, you need to go past that stuff, find the campsite that I want. All right, see, I'm right next to shore here, and that whale came up right behind me. I guess he went right underneath me while I was paddling. They're pretty smart about knowing where they're at, but he must be driving the bait right up on the beach. Rain's filling in behind me on the channel. I just came down from Ketchikan. There's a float plane moving up. It's one of the Haviland Beavers single prop float plane. Probably the most common float plane up here. They're really loud. They go right over top. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, the camera mounted like this, I should be able to. There she is right there. Yeah, this whale's been doing this for a while, up and down. Doing a little feeding behavior, little hunting behavior. Saw a bunch of them this morning. I guess one of the humpbacks washed up on the beach north of Ketchikan, and all the they say a good amount of grizzly bears are coming down and feeding on the carcass now. It's becoming quite a spectacle for tourists to go watch. But I'm heading south, and I don't really want to run into any grizzlies. Hopefully they haven't found their way over to Prince of Wales Island yet, and I still just have black bears to deal with. But I don't think I'm gonna have to deal with any bears tonight. Maybe. There are bears on Gravina Island. Still gliding along here. I'm out in the Nichols Passage, and I'm, I don't know, maybe half a mile offshore. Trying to stay out in the center of the passage so I can catch as much of the current as possible. And I'm about 3/4 of the way to my destination. Really doing well, and the weather just couldn't be better. It's just a low ceiling, about 62 degrees. The drizzle just seems to keep missing me, and it's up there in the hills. Now the wind's died down, current's still moving me along forward in the right direction. So I'm easily going to make my launch beach that I want to set up at. Get a nice evening's rest, and then get up crack of dawn tomorrow and shoot across that big channel crossing, which of course is the gap that separates Gravina Island from Prince of Wales Island. Tide's dropping. It's about 6 o'clock at night. I've been on the water about 4.5 hours. I've covered about 20 miles. I suppose farther is better, because I need to get as close to the southern tip of this island as possible. So, but I think I'm going to try some of these smaller islands over there. See if I can't get up on a grass paddock or something. I need a fairly steep beach. I'm going to leave early at about 4 or 5, so the tide's going to be about this high. I just need to get in there before the tide comes down much more, so I don't have to drag high. I think that valley in there, and there's a dock that comes down to the water. Probably too far away to show up. But I believe that's where I set out that one big storm last time I was here. It was blowing 35 to 45 knots out here. I basically spent 20 hours in the tent, just poured rain. And then the next day I launched from there and went across. It took 11 hours, but there seems to be maybe an option there. It looks like sand up there. It's funny how the mind plays tricks on you. I hope the mic picks that up. Because I have no idea what makes that noise in this forest. I am out here, and this looks like a pretty good beach here. Looks like a pretty good option. Yeah, there's some animal over there that's just going nuts. Sounds like a cross between a bear and a dog. I don't know what it is. Sounds pretty sick. Anyway, this looks doable. Nice and steep, so I don't have far to drag and don't have far to drag downhill in the morning. And a nice sand spit between the islands. No water, but I got plenty of it, so I'm gonna drag it up here. Well, this place looks pretty good. Looks like I have my choice to go on either side of this sand spit. I came from over here, put the boat right there. I can camp up on that plateau up there, and I can go down that steep sand slope there into this lagoon and head out that direction to the south end of Gravina. So I'm off the mainland on a little island. It might support a bear, but I don't know. I'll take a look around, see if I see any signs of bear, but there's signs of clam, so there might be able to do some clamming at low tide. Do a little forage hunting tonight. Around sunset should be low tide. It's about a -4 foot tide. But this flat is draining out down here. I don't know if it's picking it up, but If I can zoom in, you can see the spurt coming up out of the mud flat. That's where the clams are. So I'm gonna get a little digging stick and go at it and see if I can rustle up some clam dinner. Just like that. Get a little stick and dig it up. That's a nice little clam. So it's still June. It's still pretty cool. And the water temperature is pretty cold actually. So I think these are safe to eat. And I'm going to dig up another half a dozen of these and have clams for dinner. All right, little digging stick here. And some are coming up shells, but these guys are whole clams. Really nice. I think they're related to the Manila clam. They're really popular. But those will do. Adam, I got a pile of them going over here. And you just kind of look out on the flat and see an area. Yeah, you can just see them spurting out. Just pick that area and they're all over really. Not really farther down than about 6 inches. All right, so just this little area. It's about 18 inches in diameter and it's about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 inches deep at most with my digging stick. And that's the haul just from this little hole. So I'll combine it with the rest of them I have, and I definitely have a pot full of clams. I'm gonna put them in some clean water, let them rinse their siphons out before I cook them. All right, turned out to be a nice evening. Just no wind, just gorgeous. Hope it holds up for tomorrow. Let her rinse these guys a couple times and then leave them in salt water. You can see them, the fleshy part starts to protrude from the shell. They'll actually start to breathe. They have 2 valves, one to suck in and one to blow out, and they'll start breathing through the clean water. And in a pot like that of clean water, they'll start expelling all the sand in their mantle, and it gets better and better. Less grit in your clam. So the more I can let them soak in the water and rinse the water out and change the water. I'll probably do that 3 or 4 times before I cook them. Try to get most of the sand out of them. Nobody likes a sandy clam. Aha, there's a critter on this island. I am not alone. There's a little red martin, M-A-R-T-E-N. And he's up in these sticks right here. I saw him checking me out when I was over there. I'm real curious. He's back in there. Yeah, he'll get into my food. He can't break open the kayak like a bear could, but so I'll just get all my food into a hatch and close it up. But yeah, it makes sense. This is Martin territory. He's an opportunistic feeder. He's gonna take whatever he can, and he's very smart, much smarter than a squirrel. So doing the nav for tomorrow, and there's Ketchikan. So today I shot down the channel, turned, and then came all the way out here, and I think I'm right here at that island. That would make the most sense. So I just got some reefs and there's not really any inhabitable islands that look very good. Maybe I'm not all the way out at Dull Head, but I'm probably a mile or so in. So from there, I want to go over this Chikoff Bay. That's the closest, and that span right there should be about 11-12 miles roughly on the finger measurement. So I plugged in this Chikoff Bay. It's where I want to head to tomorrow, and I got it on my GPS, and I've got a line coming from the end of Gravina Island down. Pretty hard to see, but this guy is saying, yeah, that's about right in direction, and a distance to the target is 11.71 nautical miles in a straight line, which you're never going to get a straight line on the water, but that seems pretty solid. So I'm going to go with that and head for, I'll leave that waypoint in there and turn this off. I'm getting all programmed in for tomorrow. This is all southern half of Prince of Wales. There's absolutely no development, just a few remote cabins, little logging operation, little mining operation, but just no roads, no roads in, no roads out. That's what attracts me, and that's why I'm going. All right, clams from the beach. Little driftwood fire going. I started by rubbing 2 sticks together. I did not use a lighter. Just kidding. I just used a lighter and a piece of paper. I got better things to do than rub 2 sticks together. And I think I'm just going to sleep outside tonight. Not even bother with the tent. I'm just going to sleep until about 4 a.m. and then shoot across there. I figure I did about 22 miles from Ketchikan today. Yeah, steaming up nicely. Threw a little garlic in the mix. Give them just a couple more minutes because that big one's going to take a bit. Yeah, look at this meat. These guys are big. Chocolate clams in Mexico. Look at that. That's one clam, just a couple spoonfuls of meat. That's not even the biggest one. The biggest one's over here, and he's just packed with meat. There's a lot of meat in here, so just flip a tortilla up there on the fire. Chow down. So I'll sign out tonight. Start again tomorrow. That's it for day 1. Alright, I was going to sign off, but the sunset's doing a little encore presentation there. That red band, it's pretty amazing. I hope the camera's picking that up. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice stuff.